Okay, so some of the other things that I've done, again, these are not, this is what you need to do. These are just things that I did that helped me. One of the things that I got into really heavily during this period was breathwork. Breathwork is something that I had never done before, but I signed up for a virtual wellness festival, and this instructor named Koya Webb, this beautiful black woman, was leading a class on breathwork, and I did it, and it was so powerful, and I had like this huge release of emotions, and just all these feelings came up. And from there, I started adding it into my daily meditation, which is the next thing that I'm going to talk about. But if you're not familiar with what breathwork is, just look up Koya Webb on YouTube, and she has some videos on it, I believe, on her YouTube channel. And she also does, I don't know if she's still doing it, but at the time she was doing live streams every day at 8 a.m. on her Instagram, where she would do a little bit of breath work. So just do your research if it's something you're interested in, but it's just a way to really just move energy through your body. That leads me to meditation. So during this time, I picked up a habit of meditating every day between 10 to 30 minutes per day, sometimes longer. I'm also training to get my meditation and mindfulness instructor certification, so that was a mouthful. So I have naturally been meditating more because of that, but it had become imperative for me in the mornings to just like really check in with myself. And I would usually do it while I'm laying in bed. I would put on mantra meditation. So if you guys are interested, there's this group that I have been obsessed with that I found out about through Koya Webb, and they're called Beautiful Chorus, and their mantra meditations are just amazing. So yeah, so that has been something that has really helped me as well. It's just really taking the time to reprogram my mind and shift how I am perceiving the situation and just my experience on a day-to-day basis. I view meditation as a moment to kind of just like reset. So if I was having a really rough day and I noticed that I was going through the day kind of numb or just not really present, I would try to take moments to bring myself back into my body, and just doing that through meditation. Some of the other things that I started doing, or that I had already been doing, but I just started doing more of, was sound healing, which again, a lot of this stuff you guys might have to research if you're not familiar with it, but sound healing is like you can use crystals, sound bowls. Some people do it through singing and other instruments, but there's a bunch of playlists on Spotify, on YouTube, and I feel like it's starting to become a little more popular now. Like artists like Janae Aiko and SZA, I think they both practice like the sound bowls. So it's just becoming a little more like mainstream now, but it's definitely very therapeutic. Like on a cellular level, the sound is literally healing your body, and that is something that I would highly recommend. Also, binaural, I never know if I'm saying it right, I think it's binaural sound beats. I actually sleep with those on at night, and that is basically, the beats mimic your brain waves, and it helps you to drop into a certain brain wave frequency where you are more restful, you have deeper sleep, you fall into REM sleep more quickly. They're all for different things. You can literally do sound healing for your chakras, you can do sound healing for physical healing on your body. Like there's so many different ways, so just research it and look up different playlists if it's something that you're interested in. And let's see, what else did I do? Something else that I got into that I would still say I'm pretty casual at is yoga. I had been doing really just like morning stretches every once in a while, nothing too serious. But during this time, like I said, Koya Webb was someone that I really relied on. Like every morning she gave me something to look forward to. So I would hop on her Instagram, we would do breath work, meditation, and we would do yoga. And it was just beautiful. I feel like it was just a great way to just move the energy in my body. And in an interesting way, it allowed me to process a lot of what I was feeling that I didn't even know I was feeling. And then finally, the last thing that I'm going to talk about is journaling. You guys know I am a huge advocate for journaling, and that is because it works, it's effective. You don't need much to do it or to get started. Literally all you need is a piece of paper and something to write with. And if you don't have that, you can always just type it. But I really like to write sometimes to release stuff. But yeah, that was huge for me. Journaling and asking myself, really deep questions about how I was feeling. Something that I would do that I could recommend for you guys is every day I would start my day by asking myself, how am I feeling today? And I would just write, today I'm feeling X, Y, and Z. Today I'm having thoughts about X, Y, and Z. And I would go into detail, and I did that every day. And I noticed that day by day would go by and I would feel less heaviness. I would feel less of those anxious thoughts. I would feel less of those thoughts that would go to, I wish this could have happened, and it sucks that this happened. And gradually I started to notice that my thoughts shifted from ones of sadness and depression and just feeling really angry about the situation to feeling at peace and feeling joy and feeling gratitude and feeling happiness and bliss and just playful, and all of these beautiful feelings I noticed started to emerge over time. And journaling was really a tool that helped me to process that. Something else that I did was I did a physical detox, and I also did a social media detox. So I probably already have full detailed videos up about the physical detox that I did, which included a parasite cleanse and a womb cleanse. So you guys can check out that video if you want to know more about those cleanses. But the social media cleanse I want to talk about really quickly. So I've done this multiple times in the past where I would just take breaks from social media, but this time I did it a little bit differently. Instead of just, taking a break from social media, because my job honestly doesn't allow for that, because my 9-to-5 job requires me to be on social media pretty much like 90% of my workday. So that's not really possible for me to just like delete social media or completely, just not use it in that way. But what I did was I actually unfollowed everyone. And I know that might sound extreme. I had conversations with a few friends and they were like, oh my God, I noticed you did that. Like, how has it been? Or do you feel like you're like out of the loop? And I do kind of feel like I'm out of the loop in a sense, but I also feel like it allows a lot of space in my brain. And I think it really helps with I think if you're in that phase of feeling really overwhelmed by your emotions, social media can be a place that can kind of amplify your emotions, right? Because everyone's sharing their best selves, everyone's sharing their thoughts, they're sharing their inspirational quotes, they're sharing their anger, frustrations, their boredom. So it's like this, like I was talking to Abina again, and I was sharing how like you could be scrolling for like 30 seconds and you could feel fine when you pick up your phone, but after scrolling for 30 seconds, and a lot of times we spend a lot more than 30 seconds on social media, but scrolling, and next thing you know, by the time you put your phone down, you feel terrible. And you don't even realize it. You just notice that you don't feel the way you felt initially. And when you think about it, it's like you could have just seen someone talk about a death. You could have actually witnessed a death with all these videos of people being murdered every day. You could have experienced, some crazy statistics about the pandemic. You could have seen, a cat video. You could have seen your family members. You could have seen a newly engaged couple. Like you could see all these things, and it's triggering all these feelings, all these thoughts, all these ideas. And then next thing you know, you feel all of that. You're feeling all of that. I think especially for people like myself, and if you watch, you might relate to this as a highly sensitive person or an empath. Like, we really do pick up a lot on people's energies, and that also applies to digitally as well. So just be mindful of that. I don't want to suggest that everyone goes and deletes all their followers. I mean, you can. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's interesting seeing the response, but I'm kind of over that. Like, I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not interested in people pleasing. Like, I have to preserve my mental health, period. So yeah, I just unfollowed everyone. And initially I was gonna unfollow, like, just only follow like my close friends and family, but then I was like, no, because that's gonna turn into a whole big thing about who I'm following, who I'm not following. And I'm just like, look, I don't have the energy for that, I'm unfollowing all of y'all. And what I do is, to stay connected, you know, I still go to certain people's pages, like my friends and my family. I still go to their pages. I still check up on them. I'm noticing that I'm texting people and calling people a lot more, because I can't just go on social media and see what they're doing, excuse me. So yeah, so that's something that I would recommend if you are interested and you feel like social media has become just not the best place for your mental health right now. So I believe that's all I want to share right now for this video. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any questions, and let me know if this is something that you're going through or that you experienced at some point in your life. I think everyone's experienced a painful breakup at some point. Share some of your suggestions, comments, what you've done in the past to get through it. And yeah, that's it. I hope you guys are well. I hope you're feeling good, doing good, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.